Good day, viewers. We are back with another podcast with Theology Talks. I am EJ, the host for today, and I am joined by Jeremiah, Jadzel, Ella, and Robin, who are all eager to discuss our topic with me. Now, this topic has really got me thinking. What does God's covenant matter in this time and age? In a time where commitment is difficult to do, and relationships are hard to maintain, where independence, ignorance, and self-prioritization have greatly influenced our culture and impacted our faith. I am joined here by Jeremiah, who will help us answer these questions many of us have been wondering about. Take it away, Jeremiah.
Thank you, EJ, for starting us off. To start, a covenant is a binding promise built from faithfulness and love. In our time today, individualism promotes the idea of putting oneself first, prioritizing personal happiness and comfort over others. These attitudes often lead to broken relationships and weakened commitments. The lesson about covenants has taught us that covenantal relationships are rooted in loyalty, sacrifice, commitment, and faithfulness. This is a relationship where we are guided to help one another, even when it challenges our comfort or causes inconvenience. It may be easier to distance ourselves from all the hardships we could face in a relationship. But the covenant reminds us that God does not walk away from His promise. God remains faithful to us even when His people are not. This explains God's desire for an honest and faithful connection with His people. Isn't that right, Jay?
Yes, you're right, Jeremiah. This lesson reminds us of the true meaning of relationships. God's willingness to remain faithful encourages us to follow in His footsteps and strengthen the relationships in our own lives. It truly does have a powerful meaning behind it. But I would like to dig deeper into the covenants in the Old Testament and why they're so meaningful.
Please help us out, Robin.
Sure. Thank you.
So let's start with Noah. In his story, the flood was God's response to a world filled with violence and corruption. After the flood, God made a covenant with Noah and all living creatures, promising never to destroy the earth by flood again. The important lesson here is mercy. Despite human failures, God chooses preservation over destruction. He commits Himself to humanity as a promise. This shows that our identity is rooted in God, who values life and gives second chances.
Shouldn't I get crowded here? We should change venues. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, it's much better here. So, before we continue, I would like to introduce two new participants to our podcast, Ella and Janzel. Welcome to the podcast. Please take a seat. So now, let's continue on the conversation of the Old Covenant. Janzel, would you like to kick this off?
Next is Abraham. God called Abraham to leave his home without knowing the full plan. It was risky and uncertain, but Abraham trusted God. In return, God made a covenant, promising land, descendants, and blessing, not just for Abraham, but all for nations through him. The main lesson is purpose. Abraham was chosen to bless others. This connects us because we're called to be channels of blessings, not just receivers. Our identity includes a mission to serve beyond ourselves.
Wait, which covenant included the Ten Commandments?
So I can answer that question. That would be the covenant God made with Moses and the people of Israel. God rescued them from slavery and formed them into a covenant community. He gave them the law, including the Ten Commandments, and called Israel a kingdom of priests. The lesson here is freedom and responsibility. God doesn't just free people, He shapes them into a community that reflects His justice and holiness. This shows that our purpose includes living in ways that serve and protect others.
Lastly, there's the new covenant, fulfilled through Jesus Christ. Through His life, death, and resurrection, God promises direct relationship, forgiveness, and grace. Instead of the law being only external, it's written in our hearts. The key message is restoration. Through Christ, our relationship with God is renewed. Our hearts are transformed so we can live in love and service. This covenant shows that our deepest identity is found in belonging to God and loving others.
That was so powerful. As we explored these covenants, it became clear that God created us for our relationship. Every covenant shows His initiative to stay committed to humanity. Our identity and purpose are rooted in grace, and that grace calls us to serve others.
Well, thank you everyone for helping me refresh my memory and add new insights. But I think we're missing an important part of the story.
You're right, Ella. What we are missing are the sacraments and the covenant signs.
Now on to sacraments. They are not just religious rituals. They are a visible signs of God's grace.
That's right. Like in baptism, we receive the first gift of God's grace through water and the Holy Spirit. We are cleansed from sin and became children of God.
How are the other sacraments like Eucharist and Confirmation?
For Eucharist, we receive Jesus Himself, His body and blood. At the Last Supper, Jesus promised to remain with us always. As for Confirmation, it strengthens the grace first given at baptism. Through the Holy Spirit, we receive courage and wisdom to live out our faith boldly.
And that's not all. Each sacrament strengthens our relationship with God and the community through not just about saving us individually, but forming a relationship with Him and build us into one united community. The sacraments strengthen our bond with God and to the others around us.
Also, God's sacraments are deeply connected to the biblical covenants. A covenant is a sacred promise where God commits Himself to His people and invites them into relationship. The sacraments are how covenant relationship continues in our lives today.
Now, I have a question for all of you guys. With this experience, how did it help you understand God's commitment?
This experience helped me understand God's commitment that God welcomed us to His family and want to build close relationship with Him.
I have understand that God's promise is active and alive, and my response should also be active. A daily yes to His grace shown through faith, gratitude, and love for others.
I guess we can confirm that we have gained a lot of knowledge and information today. As we end this session, and to make sure we have learned something, I encourage everyone to carry on their daily lives with kindness, courage, and faith, and justice through acts of service and compassion.
That's right. Make it a goal to help a person or two with their needs. It's always a good thing to be able to make a good impact towards others and create relationships that could last long.
Well, now, these reflections help us understand God and His never-ending promises. With hope in His faithfulness, commitment in our hearts, and encouraged from His Spirit, we can step forward, ready to live, and as an active signs of His
That
grace.
was a fruitful talk. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.